Hi, how you going? So you might have seen my other video. If not, I'll link it here. I think it's here, isn't it? I made a video of 10 bits of gear that are actually worth buying as a hobbyist YouTuber. So I thought I'd do the opposite, 10 bits of gear that aren't actually worth spending the money on as a hobbyist, as someone who's getting into making films and photography, and just, yeah, don't waste your money. So let's get into the list. So the first one is that camera you've been looking at online. If you've got a camera to shoot and it does the job, then you're fine and you don't need to spend however many $1,000s that camera is going to cost you. Then you've got the extra accessories and extra batteries and extra lenses and just all the things that come with buying a new camera. It's never one price and you're done. So if you've got a camera that does the job, keep shooting on that. I wanted a new camera. I was researching, I'd settled on the one that I was going to buy, and then I looked at the camera I was shooting on and realized it did everything that I needed, and I wasn't even using all of the features that it had. So this is why it's the number one on the list, and it's not worth spending that money, because that money can be better invested in other ways, and even on spending money to go on adventures to make films. So that's why don't buy the new camera. Unless you really want to buy the new camera, then buy the new camera. Number two is the newest, the best, the brightest, that new product that's come out that every YouTuber seems to be reviewing, the new model of action camera, the new whatever. It's so easy to get sucked into that trap of thinking that what you've got isn't good enough because there's a new version out that does everything. I'm still using my GoPro 8. I think they're up to the 12 now, and the 13's coming out soon. And so I'm 4 models behind, but this one still does everything I want. I've got all the accessories for this, so if I started again, I'd have to buy a bunch more accessories, and this does the job. And that's the thing, at this level, once you reach a top level, yeah, spend all the money on all the gear that you want, and at that stage they start sending it to you for free. But at this level, you've only got a finite amount of money to spend, so constantly upgrading is a waste of that money. So the next thing is expensive lenses. As I said in my other video, I use this lens, which is an 18-150 most of the time on my camera, because it's so much easier to use a decent wide at one end, zoomed at the other, rather than switching between lots of different lenses and constantly fussing with your camera rather than just actually using it. So I have a ton of lenses. I'll put in some B-roll here showing, but most of the time I'm shooting on that lens, and if I'm not, I'm shooting on this one wide lens. So by buying more expensive lenses, you just end up either wasting all the time switching between very specific lenses, or you just end up wasting a bunch of money on a bunch of stuff that's going to sit on the shelf. So that's why I don't recommend buying lots of expensive lenses. Buy some good things that'll do a wide range of jobs, and then once you find that there's a specific thing you need, then go out and get that, rather than just buying them all thinking that they're what you need. So it seems like everything on this list is that expensive but the next thing is expensive lights. There's no shortage of cheap lights on Amazon. Dig into the reviews, watch YouTubers, work out what a good, reasonable lighting setup is. And then once you work out what it is that you actually need and what setup you need and what lights are missing from that, then you can go out and invest in the ones that you actually need. I use mostly cheap lights. I've got a bunch of desk lamps and a bunch of cheap USB rechargeable ones, and they mostly do the job. And when I get to the stage where I really need that good lighting setup, then I can invest the money. But investing at the outset just means that you've spent a bunch of money on something that you probably don't even know how to use properly by that stage. So yeah, don't invest in expensive lights, buy reasonably priced ones, and that's all you need. The next thing on this list is editing software. You don't need to spend money on editing software. Yes, you might have been using Final Cut, you might have been using Premiere, but DaVinci Resolve, and they're not paying me to say this, it's free. And I still haven't come up a situation where the free version didn't do everything I need. And I've seen where spending the money would get me extra features, but I don't need those features at this stage, and I think a lot of people don't. But if you do ever feel like you need that, you pay a one-time payment and you get a lifetime license, and I think that's pretty cool. So the next thing on the list is gimbals. They are very cool things and they give you amazing footage, but they're clunky. They take a lot of time to set up, get right, get balanced, and by that stage you might have missed the shot. If you're shooting something specific that does need one, then by all means get it. But if you just think it might be a cool thing to have, don't bother wasting your money until you find that you really need it. Most cameras have built-in stabilization these days, and you can do stabilization in post-production anyway, which works mostly okay. Yeah, I just think that they're not worth the time and the money at this stage. The next thing is expensive camera bags. I know most of the things on this list seems don't buy expensive blank, but I love bags, I love backpacks, I've got too many. I've got lots of different camera bags, and most of the time I just throw my camera into whatever backpack I'm taking out that day. I've got specialty camera backpacks, I've got specialty camera sling bags, I've got all of it, and I don't end up using them because I want to take minimal equipment, throw it in a backpack with my other stuff, and just head out and do things. I would love a Peter McKinnon backpack, but I don't have $500 to spend. Or if I do have $500 to spend, I don't want to spend it all on that when I have a bunch of other things that'll do the job fine anyway. Okay, the next thing, and this might be a bit contentious, is education. Yes, there's lots of short courses and masterclasses and all that kind of stuff, but most of what you need to learn is available for free on YouTube or on other video sites. And it's only once you've sort of exhausted that and you realize you need to learn something specific that isn't there for free, which it probably will be anyway if you search, but if it's not, then you can search out a short course that'll teach you that specific thing. I spent a lot of money back in the day on a film course, most of which I still owe to the government, while I got a lot of opportunities and made some good friends and had a lot of fun in that course, I feel like I could have got, today especially, could have got exactly that same education straight from YouTube and spent a lot less money and started my career a lot earlier. Okay, the next one is that carbon fiber tripod. You know the one, we all want it, we all covered it. It's beautiful, I've played with one and it's lovely, but it's a lot of money for what you can spend a fraction of the price to get something that's only slightly worse. I'm shooting on a Manfrotto, it's not that much heavier, it's not that much less compact. It fits in the bottle pocket of my backpack and it does the job fine. Yes, once I get to the stage where if I was traveling with my cameras and doing shoots all over, then having something which saves a bit of weight in my backpack would be great, but at this stage I really don't need it as much as I want it. And so the last one is just sort of a summary of pretty much what a lot of the other things were, which is you don't need to have the most expensive version of whatever it is you're looking at. I shoot on the Hollyland Mark wireless mic and that does the job perfectly well. It's half the price of the other options, and for me it does the job quite well. I mentioned my tripod, which is cheaper than the expensive ones. I haven't upgraded to an expensive camera. For most things that you want, there's a cheap version or even a mid-range version which will do the job to 90, 95, 99% of the expensive version, and most of us aren't at the level where we need that extra 1% performance. So that's my list of things that a hobbyist YouTuber doesn't need to spend their money on. It's so easy to get trapped in there, oh, I just need this bit of gear and then I can make the videos I want. I was in that for years. If I just get the new camera, then I'll be able to shoot the videos. If I just get lighting set up, if I just get the new tripod, all of that stuff. And it turns out that making videos, it wasn't the gear, it was making videos that got me to make videos. I just had to start, and now I've been making weekly YouTube videos for a while. So don't think that the next piece of gear is the one that's going to kickstart everything. Just get started, and once you get started, you'll find the bits and pieces that you need to make it all a little bit better. So let me know if there's anything you disagree with in the comments, or if you would add anything to this list or take anything away. And otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.